Okay, so those are the five in an overview. And now I kind of want to dig in a little bit more. I want to talk to you about not only the cadence and how often that you need to do these, but who and the purpose and what the actual agenda is, and some keys for success around that. So the first thing is the annual offsite. That's typically 1 to 3 days. And it's just because you've got a lot to talk about. Who is going to be in that meeting? Your business owners and your executive leadership team. These are your next level leaders. And the purpose in this is to review those top priority strategies. You want to create this strategic plan for the 3 to 5 year plan. And you want to look at your competitive landscape. You want to look at industry trends. You want to look at key personnel, team development. You want to talk about everything that you can think of that is in your business that is preventing you from getting to where you want to be. And then that's the perspective. So we're going to take all of day one and we're going to talk about what's going on in my business. Why do we think that's happening? We want to talk about root causes. We want to debate each other. We want to understand each other's perspective. We all want to get on the same page. And so that is what the first day is all about, understanding what's going on in our business, what's the current state, and then being able to go from there into the planning about where we're headed. Now, where we're headed takes all that perspective that we got on that first day and says, what's our vision? What mountain are we trying to take? It says, in 3 to 5 years, where do we want to be? And how do we get there? And then because we've gotten such great perspective and we understand what is most important and what's standing in our way, that plan almost writes itself. And so that's what we do day two is we talk about vision, we talk about mission, we get into all of those things about our culture. We talk about where we want to be as a culture in the next 3 to 5 years. We talk about our people. We talk about maybe the new processes and systems that we need. And so really being able to pull those things in there and figure out what's most important to us getting to where we want to go. And then we put together a more detailed, so we've got that strategic plan. Now we need to talk about the initiatives and we need to prioritize those initiatives. And then we need to set our team up for success by talking a little bit about what needs to happen with each one of our initiatives and how much money each of, project has or each initiative has to be able to spend. And then we want to assign a team lead to that. And we want to assign an executive team leader to that. Sometimes they can be the same thing, depending on how many people you have in your business, but they're going to be the ones that own that initiative and make sure that it gets done. And so keep that in mind of your annual offsite review and kind of all the things that we're doing there. And some keys for success are getting out things like getting out of the office, being prepared ahead of time with all the data and giving that to your leadership team to be able to really dig in and understand why things are happening, doing surveys with your customers, doing data reviews of the data that you have, and really being able to dig in and understand what's going on there. And then having a simple agenda like we've got here, because there's a lot to do. Now, if you work with Together Forward, we work you through a lot of different exercises. You have a facilitator that is full-time that works with you and your team to really pull out all of that good perspective and really make sure that you've made the best of everything and being able to really get there. And then, and that's key because we have big visions, big discussions, and big decisions are made here. This is about how we're going to use our resources for the next 3 to 5 years, our time, our money, our people. And then we're going to focus on work. We're not here to be social, even though we can do a little bit of that and do some icebreakers and some team building activities, but we really want to focus on what is holding us back. And then also we want to, I'll move out of your way so you can see that. We don't want to rush because this is so important to get really good perspective. So what we want to do is take our time and really focus on these things. And again, if you've got me or one of my team members, then you have got a facilitator that's going to help you work through that process with all of this meeting cadence. But the second thing, now that we've got our strategic plan, we want to make sure that we're reviewing this on a quarterly basis. And this is the big strategy, the big strategic view. Our quarterly reviews are going to be focused on making sure that our plans are being executed. And if not, we're adjusting them. We want to be agile. We want to be flexible. We want to be quick. We want to be able to make good decisions before we go too far. So this is where the quarterly review comes into place. And it can be anywhere from 4 hours to 2 days, depending on how big your strategic plans are and how many initiatives you have and how many people you have. If you're a smaller business, 4 hours are probably going to do it. But if you've got probably more than 25 people, you may need at least 2 days in order to really work through all this stuff. But you need your business owner and your executive leadership team, depending on if they're your managers or if they're operating in that executive function. And the purpose here is to review that strategy, success and roadblocks, and all of the things that are preventing you from getting to where you want to be. And you're clarifying that plan. You're taking that plan that is, that progress against that plan. You're looking at that, and you're going to review and clarify and discuss that strategic plan. If we're looking at a 4-hour agenda, then that's probably going to take us about 20 minutes to just remind everybody of where we are. Then we're going to review that previous quarter's progress and say, this is what we did. In 40 minutes, probably you could combine those two and work together. Being able to look at the plan and then the previous quarter's progress and talk about what happened. And then you want to review targets for the next quarter, about another 20 minutes. And again, these 3 items could go together depending on what's going on. But what you're looking for in that is to get perspective. And so now that you've got perspective, you want to really talk about that. So for the next 2 hours, you really want to dig into what those issues are. You want to talk about problem solving. You really want to get with your team and find out and look at that data. You're just really trying to understand the root cause of things, what's happening. And again, having somebody that can help you facilitate this would be helpful. But being able to, because now you're seeing clearly what's happening and what's going on. And so then being able to update and adjust those quarterly priorities. It's going to take you about 30 minutes to, maybe reprioritize some of those action initiative plans. That's what AIP stands for. And say, instead of doing action of initiative plan number 3, we really need to do number 2 first, because now that we know a little bit more and we've been trying to execute, we've run into some problems. Okay. And then also adjusting and creating that adjustment around those strategic measurements. Maybe we're not measuring the right thing. Maybe now that we're moving things in and out, we just need to make quick updates to what our dashboard is looking like. And then at the end, we need to take some time to really focus and make sure everyone understands who's doing what on the action initiative plan, what they're doing, when they're doing it, and being able to write it out. Some keys for success are, it's helpful to get out of the office. Obviously, that way you can stay focused on that big picture strategy. Getting perspective, again, is key to that plan, focusing on the work, sharing the agenda at least a week so that people can, bring that data and understand what's really happening and be prepared to have good discussions in this quarterly review. And then again, because it's strategic, you don't want to overstructure or overburden the schedule. So you want those collective efforts of the team and allowing frequent breaks so that people can, step away for a moment and just gather their wits about them, because having strategic meetings sometimes can just be very taxing because you're thinking about a lot of things and it's very good and engaging and I love it, but it just sometimes you just need some breaks to be able to just get up and walk around for a minute. Okay, and then there's the monthly meetings. And so these typically take from 1 to 2 hours. Most of the meetings that I've been involved in only take about an hour. But if there's a lot going on in your business and you've got a lot of issues and risks that you need to work through, that's when you might want to take extra time to really focus in these monthly sessions and really to be able to make sure. And remember, this is where you've got not only your executive team members, you've got your managers and your team leads. And what you're doing is you're taking that operational view and you're putting a strategic lens on it. You and your executive team are the strategic lens. And then, depending on where we are, again, your team leads and your managers are bringing you kind of the overall picture of what's going on operationally. And the two together can really work through, and you can help your people understand strategically how to implement things, and they can help you understand the problems that they're getting involved in. So this is a really good meeting. Typically it takes, like I said, 1 to 2 hours. You want to limit the major things, like if there's something major going on, you want to limit those to 1 to 2 topics, like top issues. And you want to make sure that the team leads and the managers come in prepared and have done their research in order to be able to have good discussions and have done all the groundwork and know what you expect them to bring to the table so that you can help them. And then really engage in good conflict. Again, there's that debate and that problem solving done respectfully, and then setting them up for success by letting them know what is allowed, like how, because if you cannot get perspective from your team members, if you can't understand what they're dealing with and have that healthy debate, and they can't understand kind of your vision and where you're going, then you're never going to have that communication. You're never going to be able to get to that level of communication. So the purpose here again is to discuss operationally, but with that broader strategy in view. be able to brainstorm, decide upon critical issues, so that you can get to that long-term success and all of you be on the same page. So the agenda here is you're going to get these status updates from the team leads. You'll go through that for about 30 minutes. Now you can have discussions and kind of review those things and, be able to write down what the issues are. But really, when problem solving, you want to dive into, you want to set that priority, set the agenda for the rest of the meeting after you get those status updates. And hopefully they're coming in with, you already know what the priority of each one of these initiatives are, and you can start to see, and then figure out what are the one or two topics that you want to discuss and really dive into those. And then the who, what, and when you get done with the meeting at the very end, you want to be very clear about what these team leads are taking away, what your leadership teams are taking away, the who, what, when, where, of all of that, so that everyone is really clear. And in that next meeting, we come with good updates so that we don't have to, again, waste another month or however many amount of time to get these things resolved, because these are what's holding your business back from being able to get to that next level. All right, and then the next one is the weekly planning. So we've got our monthly that you and all your leadership team is involved in, and then this one should be run by your managers and your team leads. Now, again, being able to move from that startup, you're going to have leaders that can look to the future and that can help you get there. And so the purpose of these is to start delegating things to your managers, your management team. Now, the only way you're going to be able to do this is for them to have worked with you over this time and for them to really understand what is important to you, for you to have that annual plan that you've involved them in, at least from a communications perspective, and that they know where they're trying to get to. Now, these meetings are typically between 45 to a whole hour, and they're meant to be your managers and team leads. But again, if you are the manager or you're a team lead, then obviously you're up. But the purpose here is operational, to get very laser focused on your metrics, what's important, and resolve the tactical objectives that are standing in the way. So the agenda that I've always liked to work on is the first thing, tell me something good. Like, I don't want to start the meeting with all the bad things that are happening. I want to know something good that's happening this week. And that can be a personal thing, that can be, a work thing, but I want each of my team leaders or managers to really tell me about something that happened that was good that week. And so then from there, we take a look at priorities and numbers review. We look at, things like budget. We look at things like on projects and stuff like that, and really being able to hone in on what's working and what's not working. And usually we do this with an eye with red, yellow, green, and those come with definitions. And if you need help with that, I can definitely help you with red, yellow, green definitions, and we can tailor it to your organization. But customer and employee feedback, we want to know what's been happening over the course of that last week, and then hone in on that agenda. What is, okay, now that we've got feedback from the priorities and numbers review, now that we've got feedback from the customer and employees, we want to set the agenda, because we've spent the last 25 minutes understanding kind of what's been happening this week or last week, and being able to pull that in current state again. And then now we're going to set the agenda, and we're going to talk about the agenda. For the next 25 minutes, we're going to be problem solving our top problems. We're going to postpone those strategic discussions for those monthly meetings, remember, but from the detail, like boots on the ground, let's just get it done. This is where you're going to focus for the next 25 minutes. And then at the end, who's doing what and when. And then afterthoughts, if people want to express anything, then that's a good time for them to say, I agree with what we said, but I still feel like X, Y, and Z is a concern. That way you can walk away with that feedback, and you may not solve it in that meeting, but you can still walk away and then kind of have it in the back of your mind for a future meeting or discussion, depending, because if you've worked through your top one or two issues, then you should be able to push forward and not get stuck. Okay. Then the last meeting is your daily stand-up. And these, again, are about 15 minutes. You're standing up. That's why I've got my little people down there. The main objective and the purpose for this meeting is to operationally, for your team, for every team member that you have a team lead, or they're just all on the call together, depending on how many people you have, and that you're outlining their priorities. You're making sure that everyone is on the same page, and that everyone is able to eliminate those problems as quickly as possible, because you're wasting time and money when there are delays. And sometimes people, they don't bring things to you quickly. So what you're doing is you're creating that culture of accountability. Like, tell me right now what's going on. If you're stuck, what's keeping you from moving to that next level? This is what keeps our projects on time and on budget, being able to really focus in and help your employees. And so the agenda looks like this. What did we accomplish yesterday? So yesterday I was able to get X, Y, and Z done. And then what are we doing today? So today, we've got a marketing material that we've got to get out to the customer. We've got a landscape job that has to be finished, or, we have a software project that, we've got one module completed and we've got to demo it for the customer. Those are the things that we're doing today. And where are we stuck? Well, if we've got that, maybe that demo isn't until tomorrow. So we've got to get things today, but we're stuck because we don't know how to solve an issue. Well, now I need to go get an expert that can come in that can help us. And as you, as the owner, start to delegate these things down to your managers, then it's not that you're in every one of those situations. Now there's an opportunity. You've got one problem and that person can go and figure out how to fix it. Or if they need to talk to you, that's one problem versus the other 5 that your manager was able to solve that. So this is kind of where you start to see yourself freeing up your time, because you've got people that can do this for you. And so keys here are, of course, don't sit down, keep it quick, keep it focused, do not problem solve. You hear the problem and you either tell them to go get with X, Y, and Z person, or you say, I'll get you an answer, in the next hour, so to speak. So those are the types of things. You're just understanding what's going on. You're just understanding why they're stuck. And you don't want to cancel it, even if key people are out. If, the subject matter expert is out, you want to keep that flowing, because you don't know where your team members are getting stuck. And even for an hour or, one day can create a lot of more delays rather than just getting it resolved and just knowing what's going on. Okay, so that kind of ends our discussion today on these top 5. They're not just top 5. These are the 5 meetings that, if you have these meetings, then it seems like a lot, but it's really going to help prevent a lot of problems. And behind the scenes, you can get people focused and engaged on problem solving there, but you're able to delegate, but you're still able to keep your finger on the pulse of what's going on, either through team leads or managers or other people that you've delegated to, and you're able to free your time up. And in another video, I'll talk to you about a little bit more about delegation, and we'll talk about prioritization. I think we've got a couple of videos already up on that. But please, in the comments below, let me know. And thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and click that like button. Every like helps us to reach new people. And if you want to see new videos on leadership, strategy, and project management to help you with your business or career every week, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and notification bell. Also, please let us know what your top leadership, strategy, and project management challenges are, so that we can make some new videos in the future with your feedback. Thank you for watching. I'm Annette Blankenship, and I'll see you in the next video.